The council chamber of the Galactic Empire was silent at first. Thousands of stars shimmered on the great display, and among them was a small blue world, Earth. The alien counselors studied it with cold amusement. To them, it was nothing more than a primitive planet. No grand fleets, no galactic colonies, no ancient empires written in history, just one small species clinging to their world. Pathetic, said High Chancellor Vorath, his scaled lips curling into a sneer. A young race with no influence. They build fragile colonies and call them nations. They have no place among the stars. Laughter echoed through the chamber. Another counselor, her eyes glowing faintly red, spoke. We have conquered hundreds of worlds stronger than this. Why waste time even debating? Send the fleets. Take their resources. Their people will bow or vanish. Around the chamber, alien leaders nodded in agreement. To them, humanity was nothing. A target too small to resist, a people too weak to fight. But one elder counselor hesitated. He tapped his claws against the table. There are whispers, he said softly. Rumors that this species resists. Some fleets that went near their borders have not returned. Vorath laughed. Stories told by cowards. Every empire hears such lies before victory. Humanity is nothing but dust waiting to be swept aside. The council rose, their decision final. Fleets would be prepared. Earth would be conquered. Orders were sent across the stars. Massive warships carrying banners of the Empire began to gather. Engines flared as thousands of vessels prepared for the long journey toward the Sol system. The Council believed the humans did not know. They believed Earth was blind, silent, and unprepared. But they were wrong. Far away on Earth itself, deep beneath the oceans and hidden in mountain vaults, human intelligence networks listened. Signals that no alien thought could be cracked were already decoded by human hands. Encrypted chatter between fleets. Intercepted. Coordinates of invasion recorded. The very words of the alien council, captured and translated. For weeks, Earth's leaders had remained silent, listening to every word the Empire spoke. Watching as the noose tightened, now the time had come to answer. In a hidden command center beneath the surface, screens glowed with alien text. Technicians sat at long rows of consoles, their faces tense but their hands steady. Generals and admirals stood in silence as a single message was written. It was not long. It was not filled with threats, it was a warning. A human voice would soon speak words that the galaxy had never heard before. Are we ready? Asked Admiral Reyes, his eyes fixed on the broadcast console. Ready, sir, came the reply. All alien frequencies are under our control. When we send the message, every ship in their fleets will hear it. The Admiral nodded. He looked around the room, at men and women who carried the weight of Earth on their shoulders. Then let them know who we are, he said quietly. Out among the stars, the Empire's fleets were already moving. Thousands of ships cut through the void, their commanders smug and confident. To them, this was not war. It was a hunt, a simple conquest. Suddenly, the communications channels shifted. Screens flickered. Alien voices were silenced. A new signal rose, cutting through every frequency. A human voice, calm, steady, cold. This is Earth. We know what you plan. We hear every word you speak. Turn back now. This is your only warning. For a moment, silence reigned across the alien armadas. Commanders stared at their consoles, unable to believe what they had just heard. How? How did they break our encryption? One captain whispered. Impossible, another growled. No primitive race can do this. Yet the voice repeated, stronger this time. This is Earth, you will not be warned again. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted. The encrypted lines they believed untouchable had been broken. The humans had spoken directly into the heart of their empire. Vorath slammed his fist against the table.
Lies, tricks.
They cannot do this. Their technology is centuries behind ours. But even as he shouted, fear spread among the council. If the humans could intercept their deepest secrets, what else could they do? On Earth, the transmission ended. The command center fell into silence. Screens dimmed, the message complete. The Admiral exhaled slowly. He turned to his staff. Message delivered. Delivered, sir, the technician confirmed. They heard it. The Admiral's lips curved into a thin smile. Good. Now we wait. The lights in the command center shifted, signaling the end of the operation. But one console remained glowing, a single line of text still shining. Message ready for transmission. And deep within the shadows of Earth's hidden vaults, something far older and far more powerful stirred. The galaxy had heard humanity's warning, but the true war had not yet begun. The Galactic Empire's fleets were already halfway through their journey when the broadcast hit them. Thousands of alien commanders had been laughing at their mission, calling it a hunt rather than a war. They expected little resistance. Earth was supposed to be nothing more than prey. But then, silence. Every frequency, every communication line, every channel used by the Empire flickered and went dark. For a few seconds, the fleets drifted in eerie quiet. Commanders barked orders, technicians scrambled at their consoles, and engineers shouted about failures in the comm systems. Then, the voice came. It was not alien. It was not weak, it was human, calm, cold, unshaken. This is Earth, we know who you are. We know what you plan. Turn back now. This is your only warning. The words echoed across the stars, carried into every bridge of every warship. On one flagship, Commander Drax slammed his claws into the armrest of his throne-like chair. His engineers trembled under his glare. How? He hissed. How did they break our encryption? How did they force this broadcast into our systems? No one answered. Screens that had once shown tactical data now carried Earth's emblem, a simple glowing mark of blue and white. To the Empire, it was a symbol they had never seen before. The voice repeated, "Turn back now. You will not be warned again." Panic spread through the lower ranks. Soldiers whispered to each other. Some muttered that Earth had gods, not armies. Others swore they had seen ancient texts predicting this very day. Fear began to drip like poison through the Empire's veins. Far away in the great council chamber, the alien leaders argued. "It is a bluff," Vorath roared, his scales flashing with anger. "They have no fleets. They have no colonies. They are primitives playing with stolen tricks." "Then explain this," another counselor shouted, slamming her claws against a glowing console. "Our encrypted channels are theirs now. They can speak inside our fleets. Do you not see? They are not what we thought." But Vorath refused to bend. His pride would not allow it. "Send more ships. Double the fleets. They dare to threaten us? Then we shall burn their planet until no stone remains." The council was split. Some nodded with him. Others looked uneasy, their eyes flickering with fear. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire felt doubt. On Earth, silence filled the command center. The broadcast had gone out. The entire Empire had heard it. Admiral Reyes stood before the giant display, arms crossed. He did not smile, but the determination in his eyes burned like fire. "Have they reacted yet?" he asked. A technician looked up from his console. "Yes, sir. Multiple fleets are shifting formation. They are frightened, but they are not stopping." Reyes nodded slowly. "As expected. Pride will blind them." General Amina, standing beside him, tilted her head. "So, do we send another message?" "Not yet," Reyes said. His voice was calm, heavy with patience. "They must walk deeper into the trap. Let them come closer. When they believe they are safe, then we will speak again." Back in the void, alien scout ships were sent ahead of the main fleet. Their mission was simple: enter human territory, test the defenses, prove that Earth was bluffing. The scouts never returned. At first, alien commanders thought it was a malfunction. But then, 3 more scouting groups vanished. No wreckage, no distress signals, nothing. Ships simply disappeared as if swallowed by the void itself. Commander Drax slammed his fist onto the command table. "This is no coincidence. Something is hunting us. Find out what it is." But his crew trembled, for they knew the truth already. Something unseen was guarding Earth. Something far deadlier than the Empire had prepared for. A whisper spread among the soldiers. Earth is not alone. Meanwhile, the human command center glowed with activity. On hidden monitors, the fate of each alien scout was shown. Strange energy pulses, artificial voids in space. A glimpse of something enormous moving in the dark, then silence. "Scouts neutralized," reported a technician. Admiral Reyes said nothing for a long moment. Then he spoke softly, almost like a whisper meant only for himself. "Let them feel fear. Let them wonder. Fear will break them faster than war." In the Empire's fleets, fear already gnawed at discipline. Entire units refused to sleep. Soldiers stared at the stars as if shadows might devour them. Captains barked orders louder, harsher, desperate to maintain control. And then, another broadcast came, Screens across the armadas flickered once more. The same human voice returned. You did not listen. You were warned once. You will not be warned again. This time the voice was followed by silence. No threat, no explanation. Just silence that stretched across the fleets like a heavy storm. Back in the council chamber, panic erupted. They know everything, one counselor cried. Our fleets are not hidden. Our encryption is broken. They watch us even now. Vorath roared, Enough! They are liars, tricks and The Galactic Empire had never known fear. For thousands of years, their fleets had crushed every opponent, their banners flying proudly over conquered worlds. But now, unease spread like a silent plague through their warships. It began with the scouts. 10 ships were sent into human space. 10 ships vanished, no distress calls, no wreckage, not even a broken signal. One moment they were transmitting. The next, silence. Alien commanders shouted at their technicians demanding explanations. Engineers tore apart their systems looking for malfunctions. Yet the truth could not be denied. Ships were disappearing one after another. On the bridge of his flagship, Commander Drax paced like a caged predator. His yellow eyes glowed in the dim light as he barked orders. Show me the data again, he roared. The technicians replayed the recordings. A scout ship drifting near the Sol system. Strange readings on the scanners. A sudden spike of energy, unnatural sharp, nothing like known weapons. Then static, that was all. The ship was gone. Drax clenched his fists. This is no accident, he snarled. Something is out there. Something waiting for us. The crew did not answer. They were too afraid to speak. Across the Empire's fleets, rumors spread faster than commands. Soldiers whispered in the mess halls, their voices low and fearful. They said Earth is protected. Protected by what? By machines that cannot be seen. Shadows in the dark. No, by gods. Human gods. They warned us and we did not listen. The fear grew. Some soldiers refused to sleep, staring at the windows of their ships, expecting death to come from the stars at any moment. Others begged their officers to turn back. The officers, of course, shouted them into silence. But fear does not vanish with orders. It only hides and waits. Back in the Empire's council chamber, chaos reigned. Reports flooded in of missing fleets. Counselors argued, their voices clashing like thunder. This is madness. A few scouts lost and you tremble like children? Vorath shouted, his face twisted with rage. It is sabotage or cowardice. The humans cannot do this. But another counselor slammed his claws against the table. You fool. It is not sabotage. I have seen the data myself. Ships erased in seconds. Entire crews lost without a sound. The humans have weapons we do not understand. The chamber filled with shouting. Half the council wanted to retreat, to study Earth from a distance. The other half demanded a full invasion, to crush the humans before their power grew stronger. Vorath raised his voice above them all. We are the Empire. We do not retreat from primitives. I demand the Grand Armada be sent. If the humans wish for war, we will bring it to them. Reluctantly, the council agreed. The greatest fleet in the Empire's history would be unleashed on Earth. On Earth, the humans already knew. Deep underground, the command center glowed with cold light. Admiral Reyes stood with his arms crossed, watching the live feed from hidden satellites. They are frightened, said General Amina, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. Reyes nodded. Good, fear is the first step. But it is not enough. They must understand they are powerless. Shall we strike again? She asked. Not yet, Reyes replied. His eyes never left the screen. Let their grand fleet come. Let them believe numbers will save them. Then we will show them the truth. The next test came quickly. An alien battle group, 60 warships strong, entered human space. Their commanders boasted loudly over their channels, mocking Earth's warning. Let the primitives try to stop us, one captain shouted. We will carve our names into their planet's soil. But their laughter ended in silence. Human satellites detected them the moment they crossed the line. Strange signals pulsed through the void. The alien ships reported malfunctions, then panic, then static. One by one, the 60 ships vanished. Not a single survivor. The news struck the Empire like lightning. 60 ships, erased in an instant. 60 ships with no trace left behind. Now even the Council could not deny it. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not prey. Something was guarding Earth. Something older. Something vast. Something the Empire could not see. Across the fleets, fear turned to terror. Soldiers muttered about invisible war machines. Some whispered of colossal ships hiding in the void, older than the Empire itself. Others spoke of curses, that Earth was a death world where no invader could survive. Commanders tried to silence the rumors, but they too felt the fear gnawing at them. No fleet in history had been erased so completely, so silently, and then it happened again. Another alien fleet. Another disappearance. Hundreds of ships gone as if swallowed by shadows. The whispers became screams. Soldiers began to desert. Whole units refused to board their ships. Even the most loyal captains felt doubt, their confidence bleeding away like water through sand. In the human command center, Admiral Reyes stood in silence as the reports came in. "The second fleet has been neutralized," a technician said. Reyes nodded slowly. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp as blades. "Good. They still do not understand. But they will," he turned to his staff. "Prepare the next broadcast." The room fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The first broadcast had been a warning. The second had been a final chance. Now came the message that would break the galaxy's courage forever. On the screen, words appeared once more. "Message ready for transmission." Far out in the blackness of space, unseen by the Empire's trembling fleets, something stirred. Not one ship. Not 10. Hundreds. Colossal shadows began to shift, their outlines hidden against the stars. War machines larger than cities, silent and waiting. Their guns older than the Empire itself. They were not asleep anymore. They were ready. And when the broadcast came, the galaxy would finally understand the truth. Earth had never been weak. Earth had been waiting. The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for centuries, yet never had its fleets trembled like this. Entire battle groups had vanished. Scouts had gone silent. Hundreds of ships erased without a sound. The most powerful navy in the galaxy now faced an enemy that did not show itself, did not boast, did not negotiate, only warned once and struck without mercy. Fear spread faster than orders. On the deck of one warship, alien soldiers huddled in silence. Their commander tried to rally them, but his words sounded empty even to himself. "They are only tricks," he said, his voice shaking. "The humans use illusions, sabotage, hidden mines. They cannot fight the Empire face to face." But his soldiers had seen the data. Entire fleets blinking out of existence in seconds. No wreckage, no signals, no survivors. Illusions did not erase ships like that. Across the galaxy, fear reached the council chamber. Counselors shouted, their voices filled with panic and anger. "We cannot fight shadows," cried one, slamming her claws against the table. "Every fleet we send vanishes. We must retreat before we lose everything." "Retreat?" Vorath roared, his scales flashing bright with fury. "The Empire has never retreated!" "Do you want the galaxy to laugh at us? Do you want our enemies to see weakness? Better they laugh," another hissed, "than we lose the Armada." The chamber descended into chaos. Some demanded peace, some demanded war, but all of them knew one thing. The humans had shattered the illusion of the Empire's invincibility. At last, Vorath raised his hand. His voice was iron, filled with pride that blinded him to reason. "Enough. We will not bow to primitives. We will not crawl away like frightened animals. If fleets are vanishing, then we will send more fleets. If shadows hide in their space, then we will burn those shadows with fire." He leaned forward, his eyes blazing. "Summon the Grand Armada." Gasps filled the chamber. The Grand Armada was the Empire's ultimate force, a gathering of every major fleet, tens of thousands of ships, dreadnoughts larger than moons, carriers that could release endless swarms of fighters. It was the weapon of last resort, used only against enemies that threatened the Empire's existence. To summon it was to admit that Earth was no longer seen as weak prey. It was seen as a true enemy. The order spread across the stars. From every sector, ships broke formation and moved toward the Sol system. It was a sight the galaxy had never seen before. Stars themselves seemed to vanish under the weight of so many engines. The Empire believed that numbers would crush fear, that if enough firepower was gathered, humanity would be erased. But deep inside, doubt still gnawed at their hearts. On Earth, hidden beneath steel and stone, Admiral Reyes and his staff watched the movement of the Grand Armada. Massive holographic displays lit up with red, markers thousands upon thousands of enemy vessels moving as one. They're gathering everything they have, General Amina said, her voice low. This is no longer conquest. This is desperation, Reyes nodded slowly. Desperation makes them dangerous, but it also makes them blind. They think numbers will save them. He turned to the technicians. Status of the Guardians? All systems active, came the reply. They are waiting. Reyes's eyes narrowed. Good. Then let the Empire see what waits for them. Far above, in the cold void near Earth, shadows stirred. They were not small ships. They were not even dreadnoughts. They were something else. Machines older than the current human age, built in silence and hidden for centuries. Colossal vessels, black as the void, each one the size of a floating city. Their hulls carried ancient scars from forgotten wars. Their weapons were silent but ready. These were Earth's true guardians, unseen by the galaxy for generations, and now they waited for the order to rise. Meanwhile, inside the Grand Armada, morale was breaking. On one carrier, soldiers whispered in terror, "Do you believe the Galactic Empire had laughed when Earth first spoke. They called the warning a child's threat. They told their fleets to keep moving forward. They believed no one in the galaxy would ever fear a small world like Earth, but the broadcast, it did not stay hidden. At first, only Imperial officers heard it. They dismissed it as background noise. Then it spread. Somehow the human message broke through encryption. It traveled on every open frequency, through military lines, through merchant channels, even through private communication networks. Whole planets heard the voice of Earth. It was calm. It was clear, and it carried a weight no one could explain. To the Galactic Empire, we do not want war, but if you step into our space, we will end you. This is your only warning, that was all. No shouting, no rage, just a cold statement like a door closing. The galaxy reacts on neutral worlds. Alien civilians froze when they heard it. Traders dropped their goods. Soldiers who were not part of the Empire whispered to each other in disbelief. Earth? One alien merchant gasped. I thought humans were weak settlers. How do they sound like that? Others remembered rumors. Stories told in the shadows of wars long past. Stories about a species that never surrendered, even when their cities were burning. Now those whispers became fire, spreading across systems. In the Empire's fleet inside the flagship of Admiral Kaylor, tension rose. The Admiral stood in silence as the message repeated itself again and again across his command deck. His crew shifted uncomfortably. Some avoided looking at him. Silence it, Kaylor barked. It is nothing but propaganda, yet no one could silence it. The human broadcast had locked itself into their systems. It played over and over until every alien in the fleet knew the words by heart. One junior officer whispered to another. They said, "They will end us." Quiet, another snapped, but his hands shook as he worked the controls. In the Imperial Council back on the shining capital world of the Empire, counselors argued in panic. How did they break into our systems? One demanded. No primitive world can reach our networks, shouted another. Yet the message kept playing, over the grand halls in every city square, even inside the Emperor's private chamber. This is your only warning. The Emperor himself sat motionless, his eyes narrow. Something about that voice, calm, unshaken, disturbed him. Across the galaxy, rival empires heard it. Neutral governments heard it. Pirates, mercenaries, and wandering explorers heard it. The name Earth spread like wildfire. Who were they, really? Why did their voice sound so certain, so final? On the outer edges of space, some alien captains secretly pulled their ships away from the Empire's orders. They had no wish to be the first to test humanity's warning. Earth's silence. Meanwhile, on Earth, the broadcast ended. The humans said no more. They did not explain themselves. They did not threaten again, they simply waited, and that silence was worse than 1,000 weapons, because the Empire realized something terrible. A species that did not speak twice was a species that did not bluff. Cliffhanger ending in the Imperial War Room, Admiral Kaylor slammed his hand on the table. Enough of this. Earth is nothing. Tomorrow we march. We will burn their world to ash. I will show the galaxy there is nothing to fear. But as he spoke, one of his aides interrupted. Admiral, something is wrong. Kaylor turned. What now? The aide swallowed hard. His screen flickered with static. Then it cleared, showing an image of stars darkening. No, Admiral, the aide whispered. It is not wrong, it is them. They are coming. And for the first time in years, Admiral Kahlor felt fear. The Galactic Empire was ready. At least, they thought they were. Admiral Kahlor had sworn to crush Earth. His fleet stretched across the stars, thousands of warships bristling with weapons. In every sector, Imperial soldiers were told the same thing. Humanity is nothing. Humanity is weak. Humanity will fall, but then the stars changed. The arrival, at first, it was only shadows. Sensors reported anomalies. Navigation screens flickered, confused by strange distortions in deep space. Then, ships appeared, 1, 10, 100, then thousands. They did not come with noise or celebration. They came in silence. Their hulls were black, absorbing light. Their designs unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. The humans had not sent a single fleet. They had sent armadas. Whole skies turned dark under their formation. On the bridge of Kahlor's flagship, officers stared in horror. This is not possible, one muttered. We outnumbered them. We should outnumber them. Another cried, but the truth was clear. The Empire's mighty fleet looked small, pathetic, compared to what Earth had awakened. The voice of Earth before the Empire could fire a single shot. Their comms cracked alive. The same human voice that had haunted them now returned, calm, cold, certain. We warned you once. You chose not to listen. Now, you will understand why humanity does not speak twice. A shiver ran through every soldier who heard it. Some dropped their weapons. Others froze in silence. Even Admiral Kahlor, who had sworn never to fear, felt his throat dry. The first strike, without warning, Earth's ships moved. One human cruiser opened fire. Just one. A single beam of light cut across space, faster, sharper, more precise than any Imperial weapon. An enemy battleship, the pride of Kahlor's fleet, didn't explode. It disappeared. Molecules scattered, nothing left but silence. The Imperial fleet panicked. Thousands of ships turned their weapons on the humans. The void lit up with fire. But when the smoke cleared, Earth's ships were untouched. Not one had fallen. Fear in the Empire across the galaxy. Broadcasts carried the images. The whole galaxy watched as the Empire's invincible fleet crumbled. Aliens who once mocked Earth now whispered in fear. They warned them. They only speak once. Gods help anyone who doesn't listen. On neutral worlds, governments quietly shifted their alliances. No one wanted to be on the wrong side of humanity. The breaking point inside the Imperial flagship, Kahlor's officers begged him. Admiral, we must retreat. Sir, they're destroying us. Silence. Kahlor roared. We are the Empire. We cannot, his words cut short. Because outside his window, human ships drifted close. So close he could see their black hulls gleam in the starlight. One of them turned, its cannons glowing. It was aimed directly at his bridge. Kahlor's breath caught. For the first time, he knew death was seconds away, but the shot never came. The final message instead, the voice of Earth filled the room again. This was your warning. You will live, only because we choose not to finish you today. Leave our skies. Never return. If you cross our borders again, there will be no mercy. The message ended, and just like that, the human armadas turned away, silent, calm, like predators who had already proven their power. Aftermath. The Empire's fleets limped back, broken and humiliated. Admiral Kahlor never spoke of Earth again. His name became a curse, a reminder of arrogance and defeat. But across the galaxy, the legend of humanity grew. No longer primitive, no longer weak. Now, they were something else, a species that did not bluff. A species that spoke only once. A species that could silence empires with a single broadcast. Closing cliffhanger, and in the quiet halls of Earth, the humans themselves spoke softly. Good, one said. They will not return for now. But, another answered, looking at the stars, the galaxy has heard us. They know what we are now. And they will never forget. The galaxy trembled. And Earth waited.